A lot of people ask me how I layer some of my music, and so if that's you, here's a little bit of insight into my process. So I've learned over the years that it's super beneficial to go out and to record your own samples, whether you have crazy good mics or not, because what happens is, at the end of the day, you have your own custom samples that nobody else has, and it just makes your music sound like you in an awesome way, and it's also just really fun, and that's what this is all about. So, these orange regions are my drums, and all of these samples are things I've recorded just lying around the house. So the vibe of the track is this gritty, raw, stomp, clap type of a Johnny Cash beat. So I'll show you some of the layers I've got going. A couple weeks ago, I was around an old original Victrola, and so I recorded a couple Foley-style samples of that, and here are those. Nothing mind-blowing by itself, but in context, it adds a cool texture. Here's another layer of that. That was part of a wooden drawer on the Victrola itself. It's high-passed a lot, and it's got some hiss on it, but that doesn't really bother me on this. If it was an OC track and everything needed to be really polished, that could bug me, but in this particular project, it's good. I have a leather jacket that I love wearing because it sounds really cool. So I took it into my vocal booth and I shook it a few times, and I got this great whoosh sound. Left, and here's the right. I put a couple things in the pockets of this jacket to give it some more interest in terms of tone. So I had a couple jingles from a tambourine in one of the pockets, and I had some bubble wrap in the other pocket. And it's turned out really cool. So the kick drum in this rhythm section is a car trailer. So my dad has a car trailer, and one day I found myself looking for sounds, and I was just walking up and down the length of this car trailer, banging on the side, and I got this awesome marching drum style kick sound out of it, which I didn't do much to. That's a car trailer. I took out some sharp stuff in the mid-range and boosted the highs, but that kick drum is a car trailer. We'll come back to the claps in a second. These apple tracks are biting an apple. 4 of them. This is the action on my shotgun. It's pretty quiet in the mix, but it's just me pumping the shotgun for a cool ratchet kind of a sound. And then ripping apart a green bell pepper. There's one. This one on the left is really cool. Couple in the middle to add some texture. Sounds like zombie Foley effects. Here's me doing a flip on my trampoline. Just like 5th grade. Throwing a rock into a pond. And the left. I found a metal twist shackle, it's called, on a shelf in my garage. It's this little wishbone-shaped piece of metal, and it's got a pin in it that you can take out. And when you hit the body of this piece of metal with the pin, it makes this awesome sparkly tone that I love. It doesn't sound like much by itself, but again, in context, it just adds this sheen to the sound that makes it kind of magical. And then I found a heavy metal chain in my garage, and I dropped it on the floor because that's what heavy metal is all about. Now, these claps are pretty standard. I just did 3 or 4 layers of claps in my studio. I used a ribbon mic, so they're very dark, as opposed to this clap I did upstairs with a condenser mic, and it's very sharp and it's very roomy. And look at the EQ curve on that. It's crazy. But if it sounds good, it is good. This clap sample is interesting. It sounds like there's a whole bunch of claps layered together, but it's actually a snippet of a crowd applauding. I think it was at church. This would have been 8 or 10 years ago. I had a little mini handheld audio recorder, and people were clapping, and I was recording for some reason, so I snipped this little section out of that applause, and I didn't do anything else to it, and it sounds awesome. Outside my house, there's a couple buildings, and when you clap out there, the sound bounces around, and it makes this cool slapback. So this is a clap sample out there that I've just reversed. So that kind of leads into what's coming after. So, in context, here is the beat all together. And that over top of this guitar part really gives the vibe of the track. It kind of propels it forward. I chopped off a lot of the high and lows on this guitar to make it sound gritty and raw, and it's got to have this like chain gang vibe for this track. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I got some high strings giving some tension, just ramping up over the course of the section. The bass is just following the guitar. It's this Sonic Academy Anna synth, which is really great, but I'm actually just using the sine sample or generator on it. And so if you don't have the right speakers, you can't even hear it. And that's okay, it's just following the guitar. And then, of course, the gratuitous da-da-das I tend to do. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've got 6 of them, and I don't need 6 of them because they're just going to cancel each other out. So I'm going to get rid of a few of those. But all in all, here you go. So fun. Thank you for asking. It's been fun talking about it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.